Hello, good morning. I'm here today to speak about the 11th workshop, the Guild. So I'm using this dress, this costume, which is related with it is a togai, which is an instrument that we use in course and when you are making defense or advocating some cause. So I had this idea of associating the shops to what I am wearing, because I think it's important to bring a bit of connection between what we are saying and actually how we dress and how we feel. So today we are here to speak about the guild, which is the energy of Aquarius and has to do with also with the planet, the regent planet of Uranus, which has to do with communication, transformation, but at a high level of commitment and relation. So the guild has to do also with the circle of friendships and interests. And basically, when we speak about the guild, we are talking about not only guilds itself, which are related to ancient times, in medieval times, association of merchants, but also about syndicates and unions, labor unions, which are groups of syndicates, and also associations and lobbies. Because lobby is probably a better expression of these collective individual interests. Because when we think about an individual interest, we think about basic communication, we think about ideas of what is happening, facts, and that's related with the redaction, which was one of the, and the newspapers, which was one of the first four shops, basic shops that we studied here. And then also when we think about firms, we have a very personal entanglements, relations, because we are not talking about massive associations. We are talking about interests of a couple of people, also collective, but in a sense of a personal relation. When we think about two colleagues, we are talking about a firm or a couple. If we think about not professional environment but personal environment, we always have a relation peer to peer, always based on trusty communication between two people. And that kind of relation is not exactly what we have here. In here, we are much more concerned with how a group of people and a collective interest, a lobby, can be successful in defending its causes. And so it's more important to relate the interests with more than one people, more than two people, with a mass, than just an individual interest. So that's why we are here, in knowledge of the fundamentals of the association as an instrument of individuality, because we have a mass of people, but we have one interest, which is individual, but it is combined and it is exercised in a collective way, but it's not institutionalized as it is in the parliament or in any structure of power. because we are in the people's perspective, in the individual perspective towards the collective. So we are in the guild, we are in the individuality matrix towards the creation of institution, but not an institution as a way of doing things. If we think energetically, we are talking about the energy of transformation, of novelty, of new mechanisms. We can relate it with the energy of a sun, of someone new who is trying to transform reality. And when we talk about the parliament and about the institutions and the process of institutionalization, we are talking about the opposite movement. It is the movement that comes from above to below. And here we have the opposite movement from below upper. So this kind of difference is capital to distinguish what it is the parliament energy and the guild energy. So they are two very different energies, but they are at the level of the higher workshops or shops, because in these superior houses, if we can use the term of astrology, we are on the collective. We are on the idea of one person in relation with a group, and not a person with another person or a person with itself. It's with a group, with a collective reality. So we had the university, the parliament, now we have the guilds, and we will close with the temple, with the idea of dissolution of individuality, which is the opposite in some sense of this one. The four energies have to do always with the four elements. And in here, we have the element of the air, communication. So let's get into the more detail. Okay, so workshop concept. We have already transmit the idea of trying to build some kind of strategy to improve your own worth and to bring back your values that has to do with the interest and the guild values by this first part, that is important, that you know yourself and build yourself and know your interests in order to connect with groups that represent you, and that's a guild. So knowing about the interests, your interest, the interest in which you are incorporated. We can speak about families, ties, constellations. And when we do this kind of integration, we are at the same time defending our individuality, our personal interest, at the same time of a group in which we identify. So this is a bit what it is here that we must work first. Also knowing the challenge, the area, what is implied here, and also know the values, okay? Because there is a code, a couple of values for each of these areas. By the way, we have these areas defined inside ourselves. Every person has a bit of a gymnastic, because has to work with his body, with his resources, with his communication, feelings, and emotions. Also with the emotions towards others, with communication towards others, the person with which we are related, the next person, also the duty with someone, and the personal obligation of identifying our energy and actively put it in the world, which is not using the body for ourselves, but in regards to the other person. And also we can see this in collective ways. Okay, so superior workshops or shops or houses or social workshops also have these four energies, these four elements. When we think about university, is all about our affirmation physically as an individual. If we think about the parliament, it's more important the resources, collective resources, chains of power has to do with resources at a higher level, institutionalization of them. And in here, we have the communication of collective thoughts and interests, so the lobby. And finally, when we are talking about emotion, commotion, feelings, and in the idea of collective conscience or subconscious, we are talking about spirituality, and that's also a dimension inside of every person, but also as an area of life. We have religions, we have temples, we have association in that level. So let's get into our shop. In here, we have from Ricardo Reis, which is an heteronym of Fernando Pessoa, a very known Portuguese poet, and he has this line, which is in a poem, which is, "To be great, be whole, nothing of yours exaggerate or exclude you. Be all in everything, put how much you are in least you do. So in every lake the whole moon shines because I lives." So there is here a eulogy, some kind of defiance to be original, but at the same time be full committed with what you are doing, and in that sense with the group you represent. Okay, so individuality, this is the general matrix of the meta model of the 12 shops, and particularly in this 11 workshop we are working Uranus, as I have already said. So through an active process of working in a group, discussions, argumentations, and through that exculp the goals. Each workshop works on a life theme. Here it's the individual dimension in social, and virtuality of working self-esteem in social. So we work our own self-esteem in this dimension of the collective interest in order to project it socially. We work our armor, which is our mind, through our rationality. So the reason and the reasoning is here essential. This is an image of Estádio da Luz. Knowing the interests, so actively listen to the interest of others, understand where are the weaknesses, strengths, challenges, and opportunities. Auto-suggestion, mentalization, repeated exercises, modeling and recognizing characteristics of excellent lobbyists that should be copied, embracing difficulties, nonviolent internal dialogue, division into stages, small steps, self-care, gratitude, creation of a social panorama. So knowing the interests, new type of behavior based in individuality and difference, 21 days of repeating impulses, control patterns. So you do this by text and by modeling your active acting in society. because it is needed to participate in agremiations and adopt in that context the right behavior and incorporate those patterns. Self-respect, create discipline, develop of harmonic agility. So the idea of being in the guild and at the same time be involved by that way of acting, okay? Very important, this aspect. Permanent active listening through individuality, difference, and adequate observation. Those are the bases. I bring Dune and Paul's visions, Paul Atreides. Basically, Dune is about a world, a fantastic creation, a dystopy, in which by Frank Herbert. It is a novel. It is brought to the cinema at least a couple of times. I believe this is the third adaptation. The second one was very famous. I believe it was from 1984, and it is interesting to see the changes of the interpretation over the novel of Frank Herbert. But the main theme of the books, because it is a compilation of books, it's all about climate changes, exploitation. In this case, is a spice. The spice is the equivalent of oil, and in a sense, this is a criticism to our society, which is very dependent on oil. And in this world, where there is a dispute between two rival clans, the Atreides and the Harkonnen, and of course the natives. And at the same time, in the center of the plot of the political intrigue, there are interests that the clan Atreides be destroyed. Paul Atreides is the heir of a destroyed clan, and his mission is to get in touch and fuse with the locals, known as Fremen or free men, and by combining their interest with the interest of the Atreides, try to change and institutionalize their interests as the right ones for an empire. So I came around again to this idea that in the guilds the process is from below upper, and in politics we have the opposite dimension, the opposite movement, which is from above to below, from what it is institutionalized to the people. Here we work from the people to the institutionalization to the politics system. Okay, so basically is this. This is an introductory video where Paul Atreides had visions, because he was simultaneously a political leader, at the same time he was a mystic. At the same time, as he was traveling to these new worlds with a mission to change the destinies of a whole galaxy, he met in his dreams a girl, which is Chani, and Chani is here portrayed, and she, in his visions, is telling him what the future will be. So basically, the idea of revolution, it could also be the idea of evolution, transformation, When we study the political movements from a regime to another, generally we speak about reformation or revolution. Both movements are Uranic and Aquarius by definition. So this movement of transformation with aggression or with adaptation is exactly what is the purpose of a guild. So individuality, equity, revolution, and finally an harmonic and individual responsibility, because the person who impersonates the guild must serve that collective, but also the individual of each one of those persons constituting the guild. It can be, if we are not seeing it in an harmonic way, a contradiction, but truly it isn't, because it's always some kind of lobby that is being represented here. So individuality, ability to look at human beings in their individuality and integrality, affirmation of their own choices based on their mission in the world, adding value based on a mission, equity, ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and be able to speak and listen in balance, revolution, developmental agility that allows you to transform the surrounding reality, bringing new dimensions of reality to the collective, and the harmonious and individual responsibility, control your reactions, develop proactive actuation in creative collective values, and put the common vision first. This idea of common vision, shared vision of a group of individuals. So find the fundamentals: lobbyist code, individuality, equity, revolution, harmony, ability to look to the world from your own perspective, but with the opportunity to release your convictions and fears, act to surrender to others, where you develop your creativity, but where you do not forget your duty to listen and integrate the voice of the individuality of the other, and from this place of communion, meet your needs and the needs of others in full balance and harmony. Be able to show yourself relevant and creative in pursuit of collective interests, being a driver of the will for change and revolution, which emanates from the change in mentalities based on a collectivized individual consciousness. What is this? A collectivized individual consciousness. It is very simple what you are saying here. You must be at the same time in the service, and as we walk through the 12 workshops about the 12 shops or houses, we are from the perspective of serving yourself towards serving the others. And we are here at the it's not the last, it's the second last shop. So as we walk through the zodiac, we are approaching the ultimate service, which is in Pisces, the spirituality. When we transform our individuality in order to serve others, which is, by the way, what we are working here in this particular shop, we are a step closer to dissolving ourselves. Also, is important that this individuality is not lost in Pisces. We have, and we are speaking in Pisces, but Pisces has two fish. They are just doing opposite movement. So one represents the need to dissolve and the other one to affirmate individuality. So it is impressed in the Pisces, the idea of Aquarius. So this idea of individuality is also present in Pisces. It is present in Capricorn because if we restringe someone to some kind of values, but we are still working over someone. And of course, when we have the expansion of the house of Sagittarius in the university, we have, of course, this idea of individuality also. So individuality truly is in all four houses in the perspective of service, serving individuality in a collective way. It is present, but in here it is the hardcore, it is the basis, okay? So values and how to develop them with a mindset of gratitude, self-care, taking care of your image, knowing the position of yourself, overcoming fear, and create a social environment. Also create correct mental map of abundance in the others, knowing that the triumph is with others and for others, the service idea once more. It's interesting because this part is about the moment where Paul Atreides is confronted by a sister of the Bene Gesserit, and it is obliged to be confronted with his own limitations and be tested. And he's tested to the limits because that's what should happen to someone who has the guild values, the lobbyist code. So, knowing your challenge, understand the nature that moves other human beings, self-knowledge, also mental knowledge of the mental field, logical conditions, victory over bureaucratic obstacles. So use the Sun Tzu laws, knowledge of people, direction of thoughts, in order to grow through constant adaptation of opinion through the development of the mind. So we have the TLP, the Top Lobbyist Program. So as in all other shops, I have, I would say, a set of techniques, the creative development techniques, which could be important in order to achieve a better efficiency and proficiency in your lobbyist activity. So, why companions are no longer interested in relationships, and this is the perspective of the family. Silence and triangulations, overprotection, which destroys children's. By the way, all these techniques are related with familiar constellations, which are very important in order to understand which base of communication, of history we are working on and developing. So it's important to center our method and techniques in some kind of context. In this case, the context is basically the family constellations of Bert Hellinger. So, but we have also techniques from the neurolinguistic discipline, and we have also some of the techniques that we use in coaching. Okay, so I'm a bit experimenting here, making a melted bunch of techniques that I believe that they will help you to develop this creativity through the idea of making your individuality and the individuality of the collective you are representing to be enhanced. Okay, so also we have here some techniques about relationships, about the idea of victim, villain, and hero. These are roles that we make in our mind in order to develop some kind of image that protects us through the world and in our voyage. And the idea is to deconstruct everything that we do in order to understand what is behind this in terms of communication, to exploit it, and finally to surpass it. So also, beginning of cycle, our person became perfect in the idea of improvement, adjustments to your life, also prayer and pray as a way of exercise and salvation, the betrayal and how you should look to it, about what happens in our families with the education when it's not from a perspective of the constellations, the family constellations, that it's essential that we work, because it has to do with the origins of your own family and of your country, and it is based on that you can evolve. Okay, so also why men and women don't close together in our ODR in our contemporary society, how to improve the feminine, how to be happy in marriage, and how to apply social evolution in the 21st century. So everything has to do with Bert Hellinger and the context of the constellations. Okay, also European, African, and American constellations. So the levels of growth from individual, familiar, cooperative, syndical, social, and transpersonal level also try to fix the paradigm of change and a new alliance and social pact. Finally, the two last videos of the Holy War and the part 2 of Dune, which, by the way, will be in the near future, get to the cinemas. Fight to defend individuality from everyone else. Deepest gratitude. I hope you enjoyed this voyage through the 12th shop. The 11th shop. I hope you visit us in the house of this 11th shop, the shop of the agremiation or the guilds. And we hope this have helped you in order to compromise with this idea of the 12 shops. And I hope to see you soon in the courses or in the coaching sessions that I will bring on. Okay, so see you next time, and see you in the other shops also. Okay, so bye.